Hey, I'm Amy Workman. I play Hikari Zhang in Teen Wolf the movie, and this is Young Entertainment Mag.
Well, hi, I'm Daniela with Young Entertainment Mag. It is so nice to meet you. We're so excited to have you. We have talked with Dylan Sprayberry, we've talked with Kylan. It's been so fun, and the fans on our TikTok and on our site are just like in love with you guys, in love with the cast, in love with the series. So it's so fun to have you and just to know like what's coming and how everybody in our community is going to react. So what did you know about Teen Wolf, the movie, before being cast?
Oh, that's a great question. Literally nothing. I didn't even know there was a Teen Wolf movie in production until I got the audition.
Okay.
And so I got this audition that said like role for Teen Wolf the movie, and I was like, didn't Teen Wolf end like 5 years ago? And I had to like rapidly Google it, and I was like, oh, okay, they're back now.
Yeah.
And then of course, as soon as I found out, I was like, oh crap, I have to get this role. I have to be a part of this. Um, and I started like watching as much of season one as I could before my audition, before my callback. Honestly, I didn't get through the entire season, but I got enough to like kind of get some context.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew very, very little prior to getting cast. So showing up on set was nice because I finally got to talk to everyone and be like, okay, tell me how everything here works, you know?
Yes. Totally. Maybe like having that fresh perspective and not being like super involved in the Teen Wolf world helped a little bit. Do you think so?
Absolutely. I think the difficult thing with auditions for something that you're so passionate about is that you get really psyched out. So I've had auditions for big franchises that I'm already such a fan of, and I just go in so nervous and self-conscious and like I have to do it right. I have to like study this source material and like portray it correctly. And I think it really helped kind of not knowing anything going into my audition for Hikari because I was able to create this character from the ground up and I wasn't trying to live up to something that I built up in my head.
Totally. Okay, this is kind of funny, but you know what it reminds me of? I don't know if you've ever watched like The Bachelorette or any of these dating shows, and then like the contestants go on, and a lot of them go on like knowing who the person is already, and it like
Yeah.
ruins the experience, and they kind of self-sabotage, but it's like the gals that like didn't do their research or watch the episodes of the guy, they like get to know him for who he is, and that's just kind of
Yeah.
what it reminded me of.
Absolutely. And it helped so much showing up on set, like not knowing who the other cast were. I mean, I knew their names and I knew like Tyler Posey as Scott McCall, but I didn't have this like, I've watched you on TV for 6 years like mentality. So I was just able to meet them as like the people that they are. They're just other actors.
Totally. Oh my gosh, that is so fun and such a cool perspective. So, what was the casting process like? And it sounds like you built your character from the ground up, which is so incredible. And I know you already shared a bit about the casting process, but run us through like what your thoughts were. Obviously, you were really excited when you saw the notice come through, but then like, how did callbacks go and like producers? How did the whole thing work?
Yeah, so it was actually a really crazy experience. Unlike most feature film castings, I think. I was living in New Zealand at the time, and so I wasn't able to go in and audition in person. So it was a self-tape, so I just kind of recorded myself doing the scene and send that in. And then my agent emailed me and was like, "Hey, they just want some extra information from you. They want to know like more about your background and more about your skills." And I was like, okay, interesting. So I gave them all the information. And then my agent emailed again and was like, hey, they want you to do the same scene again, but with a couple of like notes, like acting notes,
Hmm.
which is kind of unusual because a lot of the times for a callback, they'll give you new material.
Oh,
Or they'll have you in the room with them and they'll give you notes like while you're there and kind of play with it in the room.
right.
But again, I was still in New Zealand. And so they gave me the option to either do a call and a call back through like a video call like this, or to record the scene again and send it in again. And so I chose to record the scene again because I'm a perfectionist, and I was
Yeah,
like, I want to be able to choose which take they see. So
totally.
I sent in like 3 different takes to my agent and was like, hey, I did it 3 times. I kind of like all of these for different reasons. I'm gonna let you choose which one to send to casting. And then my agent emailed back and was like, we sent all of them. Enjoy. And I was like, okay, sure.
That's
Sounds
so fun.
good.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, that's wild.
but yeah, I got the call like 2 days later that I had been cast, and they were like, "Come to the U.S." I was in New Zealand again, and they were like, "Yeah, come to the U.S. like next week." And I was like, "Okay, sure." And so it was super fast. It took place
Oh,
over the course of like 3 weeks maybe, and then I was on set. And I
oh,
hadn't met anyone in person. I hadn't like done a call to meet anyone. I just sent in my 2 videos, and that was it.
that's insane. Like no chemistry reads.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so wild. That's so cool to hear though. That must have been crazy exciting because it's like it took place so quickly. One day you're just, chilling and the next you're like, "Oh, I'm cast in Teen Wolf the movie." That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And then I had to keep it a secret for like a month because the announcement hadn't come out yet. So I'm like, I'm in America now, but I can't tell you why.
Oh my gosh. Okay, am I able to ask why you were in New Zealand? Was it for filming or was it personal or were you on vacation?
Well, I live here half of the time because my family's from here. So
Oh,
there's a lot of film work here and in LA. So I kind of just live in whichever country I'm needed in.
that's so cool. I personally had no idea that you could um I guess be considered for a role like in another country. That is so cool. And it's so cool that you have that many possibilities. That's really neat.
Yeah. I think it's
Wow.
definitely been more of a thing in the past couple of years because so many auditions are self-tapes
Yeah.
that you can kind of send in from anywhere. So it's been
Yeah.
really nice for
That
me, at
is
least.
so awesome. New Zealand, I mean, I've never been to New Zealand, but I've seen it obviously in films and such, and it's so beautiful. So that
Beautiful.
is awesome. We got a spoiler from Dylan.
Oh,
Well, and I should say this, it was a passed on spoiler. He shared the moment at New York Comicon when he had accidentally given the spoiler that
yeah.
you were his love interest on stage. What was that like in the moment? Like were you shocked? Were you like, "Oh my gosh," or did you not realize that he kind of spilled the beans until after that? Like what was your
When he
perspective of that
spoiled
whole
it?
thing? Yes.
Oh,
Uh
yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
when he,
that was really funny because the at the beginning of the day, Vince and I, the other new guy, we were both like, "This is our first Comic Con. We're so nervous. We don't want to spoil anything." And so we were being so careful the entire day. And
yeah.
I was like, "I can't say anything about my character because I'm his love interest, and there's a lot of information that's in the film relating to me that I can't say." So I was like, "I'm just gonna keep quiet." And then we're at the panel, and Dylan spills that I'm his love interest. And I was like, I could have been talking about this all day. I could have said this earlier.
That's so
People are
funny.
going to find out either way. I may as well do it myself.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Where did you just like think it was just hilarious, or were you kind of like worried for him? Like, oh no, is he
I
gonna get a
was a
talking
little
to?
worried. We
Yeah.
got off the panel and we were backstage, and I was like, were you allowed to say that? Like, did they say you're allowed to say that? And he was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I'm like,
So,
okay, well, if you get in trouble, I mean, it's you, not me. So,
yeah. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Okay, so what was it like working with Dylan?
oh, he's fantastic. I mean, he's a wonderful scene partner. He's a really intelligent actor. He's really good at analyzing a scene and working with his scene partner and sort of figuring out. I mean, we spent a lot of time right at the beginning of the shoot, kind of figuring out our relationship and our characters, obviously, our characters' relationship and their backstory prior to the movie and what each of them had been up to. And just like I think we both went into the film with the understanding that we would have to be close or those scenes wouldn't work. And we have to get along or Hikari and Liam is going to be a weird vibe. So I think we both went in, with the understanding that we would have to be friends. And it was really great. I feel like he really took me under his wing in terms of being a new actress on set with, people who have worked together for like 12 years at this point. And I had no idea how things worked. I couldn't find my way around the soundstage. And Dylan was fantastic. He made sure I was taken care of. He made sure, I knew where I was going, all that stuff.
Totally. Oh my gosh. He, just from his interview and talking with him, I could tell he's such a sweetheart. And yes, that he's such an intelligent human being. I mean, and I can only imagine that translates so much in acting, but he's so intelligent as well. And I'm so excited to get to see all that and see your guys' chemistry on screen. How do you think fans of the original series will react to this film?
Ooh, I think there's a lot of stuff they will be shocked by,
Yeah.
um, especially because it's so far in the future. I think it's like 10 years after the show ended. And so, people move on in their lives. The characters have moved on and they've done new things. And I think people will be really surprised by what they've gotten up to. There's some really heartbreaking moments. There's some really triumphant moments. So I'm hoping that the fans will react to the movie the same way they reacted to the show, with so much love and passion.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. And that'll be such a fun experience for you too, since you're newer to the Teen Wolf family, to see how
Yeah.
like the reaction and the pouring in from everybody. That's going to be like so exciting.
Yeah. I mean, even already, the fans are crazy passionate. It's intense, but it's wonderful to see.
Yeah, I bet that's amazing. So, can you explain what a kitsune is and if there was any research you had to do before playing that role?
Yeah. So a kitsune in Teen Wolf lore, at least,
Thank you
is
for saying
a
it correctly.
oh yeah.
I'm so
That was
sorry. That
the
was
that was the thing I had to
beautiful.
research. I was like, I went on set and I went to the other actors and I was like, is it kitsune or kitsune or like how?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Google Diction said kitsune, so this is great. I'm getting a front row seat to learn the correct way.
Kitsune might be the English pronunciation. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Nevertheless, please share.
Anyways, in Teen Wolf, it is a person with like a fox spirit that sort of inhabits their body, um, and protects them. It's hard for me to explain because it's very connected to the person. So it's not like something is taking over their body, but it is like a protective spirit that kind of just dwells within them, gives them protection, gives them, special kitsune powers, agility and fight ability and all that kind of stuff. I did as much research as I could before the film. I spent a lot of time on the Wikipedia looking up all the like the different types, because there's like a bunch of different types of kitsune. Um, and yeah, again, how to pronounce it. I believe there's also a thing with the tails. Yeah, there's like tails that like have some of the kitsune power in it, and once you get 9 tails, that's like the most powerful you can be, basically. Which is all based in actual Japanese folklore. So Jeff Davis probably knows a lot more about it than I do because he wrote it. But this is my doing my best to explain.
Yes. Okay. No, that was amazing. That's such good insight. And so you play a pretty badass role in this film, and you have to be very active, right? You're doing all the things. So, was there anything like training or workout wise you had to do to prepare for like a physically demanding role such as this?
I am actually trained in screen combat, specifically with swords, and I have been for several years now. So the most I did in terms of the fight, I mean, we had fight rehearsals before any intense fight scenes, and the stunt team made sure we were prepped. But in terms of like prior to the film starting, the most I did was like beg Jeff Davis to give me fight scenes. I was like, please, I want a sword. I want to fight. I'm so excited to fight. Please let me fight.
That is so cool. Do you think that that played into, well, when you said earlier, when the producers or casting called you back and said, "Hey, can we learn more about your experience?" Was that some of the things that they were asking about, like your fight kind of background, and since you were professionally trained in it?
Yeah, maybe. I do remember when I sent in my callback, also sending my agent like a fight reel of some of my training and being like, hey, just in case, let me just slide this over, just in case they want to see that.
Yes,
Um,
that's
which
brilliant.
I don't know if they sent it or not, but I offered.
That's so cool. What an amazing skill to have. What do you feel was the most challenging part of working on this production, and how did you overcome that challenge?
I think this is maybe the most basic answer, but the night shoots get rough after you've been working from, like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. for about a month straight. Your sleep schedule is all messed up. Your like body rhythm is all messed up. But it really just was a matter of clinging to the other cast members. We all helped keep each other awake, and also the whole cast and crew, knowing that we're all doing this together. We're all awake at 5 o'clock in the morning at the same
Yeah.
time. It's like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this.
Yeah.
Um, we just kind of tried to keep each other awake, keep each other entertained. Dylan had a banjo, Vince had a guitar. They would jam. We would play games. I would sometimes go to the other people's trailers and just like take a nap on their couch. Like we're just kind of getting through it together.
That's so fun. I think Dylan was the one too that said that was his biggest challenge when we asked him. The question was the night shoots, and I could only imagine it's like hard, but yeah, you're doing it like as a family, as a cast family.
Yeah.
So that's really fun.
Also,
Uh,
like, I mean, that says something about the production that the worst part of the job was not the job itself. It just was the circumstance. Like, I think we got really lucky if that's the only thing we have to complain about.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And am I correct in saying that this was filmed in Atlanta?
Mostly, yeah. We had like a week in LA, but the rest was in Atlanta.
So you live part-time in New Zealand, part-time in Los Angeles, it sounds like. What was it like for you filming in Atlanta? Was that your first time filming there?
It was. It was like a summer camp. It was so much fun. Like we were all staying in the same hotel. And so, before we went to set or if anyone had a day off, we were all in the same place already. So, people could go out to down and hang out at the hotel bar if they wanted. There were some restaurants around that people really liked. There is one like Mexican restaurant that Dylan, I think, spent like every single day at. So they definitely will recognize him by now. Like we made friends with the barista in our hotel lobby.
Oh,
So it was really fun. It was a little intimidating because the roads there are really confusing. And I didn't
mhm.
like driving, but the rest of it was really fun.
Yeah, that's so true. The roads are confusing and like their traffic light system. Like it's
Yeah.
weird. It's different than I don't know how it is in New Zealand, but definitely different than LA. Like all it's like a lot of the lights are like hanging on these ropes and like string looking
Yeah.
things. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's just it feels like every street you turn around is like 1 inch from like falling apart.
Yes.
It's so different.
There was this one street that was like on the way to the sound stage that was like, if the light is green, this lane is your side of the road. And if the light is red, this lane is this side of the road. And I was like, I don't know if I'm driving in the wrong direction right now. I could hit someone head on and I would never realize.
Right? I am from California and so Southern California, but then I just lived in Nashville for a few years and would go back and forth to Atlanta. And I felt the same way. Like I feel like driving in the South as a whole feels like that. And then they have these like crazy roundabouts and such. So
Yeah.
that's so funny. I could see how that
So
would
glad it's not just me.
no, not at all, for sure. And I know you touched on this a little bit about what it was like coming into an already established cast, but was there anything that really surprised you about the process or any like preconceived notions? What was that really like?
That is a good question. I honestly, I've been on productions before, so it was very similar to any other shoot I've gone on to, except that everyone knew each other.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of knew what to expect for the most part. I think what was just most surprising is how much everyone really did hang out, because I feel like on a lot of productions, especially bigger ones like this, people tend to go and sit in their trailer until they're needed for the scene. And, they're everyone's amicable and everyone gets along, but they don't really make an effort to hang out.
Yeah.
With Teen Wolf, they really are a family. Everybody was like hanging out in the parking lot when their scenes weren't running. Everyone's in each other's trailers all the time.
Yeah.
That's probably the most surprising thing to me, was just how close everyone was. And they were so welcoming to me too. So I felt really lucky.
Oh my gosh, how fun. And like fingers crossed that there will be sequels to all this good stuff. So yeah, and so you're a part of that family now. So that's really cool. And I know you kind of touched on this too, but I wanted to ask, and it sounds like you really went into this like with a fresh perspective, but was there anyone from the original series that you were like kind of secretly like really excited to work with or like learn from on set?
but I think because I hadn't seen much Teen Wolf, I didn't really know who to be excited about. Oh, no, actually, I used to be a big fan of Arrow when I was like 14. So meeting Colton Haynes was very cool. I low-key forgot that he was in it because it's just been a little while since I watched it. But then I met him and I was like, oh yeah, I used to like love watching you act, and now I get to like act alongside you and see you do it in person. So that was really cool. And he's
Yeah,
such a sweetheart. He's the funniest person.
that is so fun. Oh my gosh, full circle. I love that. I just
He
pictured
doesn't
like
know that. I haven't told him that, by the way.
I love it. I just pictured like the now and then what or TikToks were like, you
Yeah.
like the green screen of like, oh, what I used to do. And like now I just now you're doing it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Um, how exciting. So did you learn anything? Well, I'm sure you did. I guess it would be better phrased. What did you learn in terms of acting or in terms of life that you learned during this filming process that you think will stick with you for a long time?
Oh, I mean, I feel like I learned so much, but I feel like a lot of it was just like the rhythm of a set and how things work and how to sort of navigate the space, both physically and mentally, without like getting in people's way. Um, One thing that I really learned is that like it is not about trying to get it right every take. It is about knowing your character and knowing yourself and trusting yourself that you're good enough of an actor to embody your character. And just not just like overthinking every single line you have in the script, but just knowing like I have done the work. I know this character. If I go into the scene and I've, done the work, then she will come out of my mouth, basically.
Totally. That makes so much sense. And that's like such a good lesson for life too. Cause it's like no matter what somebody's occupation is, we all are like crippled by overthinking,
Yeah.
I think you're right in the sense that it totally holds you back from doing your best work. And when you're trying to get it right, it's more like when you're living in the moment and just trusting that like the greatness is inside of you. You've done your homework, you are worthy and you are qualified and you're going to kill it. So that's really cool. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this can relate. Any cool special effects that you were excited to work with or experience?
Um, I really enjoyed seeing everybody's werewolf makeup on set. I didn't get any personally, but I remember there was this one day where I was filming like behind the scenes content with the behind the scenes crew, and I'd never seen Dylan in special effects makeup before. And he like jumped out and like grabbed me and scared me, and I turned around and he's there with like full werewolf, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, sir."
Wow.
That was really cool. There is a stunt that I'm really excited to see. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but there's one stunt that I got to do that I am very excited to see if it looks good.
That is so fun. Okay, this just came to me. Halloween 2023. Should you be Dylan's character? Should you do
Should I be Leo?
Yes. Should you do
Yeah, maybe I should.
Be so fun to show up, knock on his door. Hey.
That would be great. Maybe I should do, I'll consider that. I'll write that down.
That's so fun. So if you could describe your character in 3 emojis, what would they be?
Emojis. Ooh. Okay. Let me think about that for a second.
Would the fox one be appropriate?
The fox one, definitely. The sword one, for sure. Maybe the two swords crossing, because I like that one more than the one sword. I think it's cooler. Um, and then maybe the one with like the zipped mouth, because Hikari is good at showing restraint.
Oh, okay. That's exciting. I love that. You know what the most common one is whenever we ask actors that, like across any series, any film, any genre, is the swearing one.
Really?
Yes, which is so funny.
Everyone's so full of rage.
Oh my gosh, so full of rage. It's so funny. What is next for you? We want to know. We're so excited. Beyond seeing you in Teen Wolf and like celebrating you as part of the Teen Wolf family, what else is on the horizon that we can look out for?
Yeah, I mean, I have just recently finished filming a short film called Crown and Blade. That is coming out hopefully in the next couple months. It's in post-production right now, but I believe the release date is aiming for mid-February, so you can look out for Crown and Blade. And I've just finished a pilot called Asian 8 that is coming out sometime, I think, in March. So would love for people to check those out and see if they like them.
Oh my gosh, how exciting. Cool. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. We really appreciate you. You're such a gem. It's been so wonderful to have your beautiful, bright energy on our screen. Everybody's going to love this interview. We're going to post this all over Instagram and TikTok and, of course, our site, and we will be sure to tag you. Would you mind wrapping up this interview by saying thank you, and don't forget to subscribe to Young Entertainment Mag?
Of course. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Young Entertainment Mag.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Amy. Seriously, this was such a delight, and we're so grateful for your time. And we can't wait to
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we can't wait to keep watching your amazing work and cheering you on. And thanks again.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Until
We'll see you later. Bye, Amy.
All right, bye.